everyone. My name is Sophia. I'm 42 years old and live in a quiet suburban area with my husband, James, and my stepson, Liam. Life here is mostly calm, but there's an ever-present loneliness in my marriage. My husband, James, is a corporate lawyer, and his demanding job keeps him tied up with endless meetings, late nights at the office, and constant deadlines. While I understand the weight of his responsibilities, his work leaves us with little time as a couple. At times, I feel like a passive observer in my own life. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so I can continue sharing intriguing real-life stories like this one. Be sure to stay until the end because this story is incredibly compelling. There was a time when James and I shared a deep bond, filled with laughter, shared dreams, and tender moments. We built a life together that was grounded in love and companionship, but somewhere along the way, that connection faded. Our evenings turned colder and quieter, replaced by an unsettling silence where warm conversations once thrived. Now, I often find myself lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering where it all went wrong. Before we dive into the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more emotional and thought-provoking tales. A few nights ago, while James was out working late again, I found myself alone at home. The house felt overwhelmingly still, the silence so heavy it seemed tangible. My thoughts wandered back to a recent, electrifying encounter I'd had with my stepson, Liam. That moment stirred feelings I hadn't allowed myself to experience in years. It reminded me of what it felt like to be wanted, to feel truly alive, emotions that had been absent from my life for far too long. In an attempt to calm the storm within me, I decided to take a long bath. I filled the tub with warm water and lit a few scented candles, letting their gentle glow and soothing aroma create a peaceful ambiance. As the warm water embraced my body, I began to relax, but my mind wandered back to Liam. I couldn't help but recall how his hands had explored me, the passion in his kisses, and how alive he had made me feel. The memory was intoxicating, sending waves of heat coursing through me. I closed my eyes, imagining his touch, the fire that had sparked between us. The warmth of the water mingled with the burning sensation deep within me as I remembered the intensity in his gaze, full of longing and something even deeper. Part of me was terrified, but another part craved the connection, the thrill. I felt drawn to him in a way I couldn't resist, like a moth to a flame. Suddenly, a soft knock on the bathroom door startled me. My heart raced as I sat up quickly, water sloshing around me. "Who is it?" I called, trying to sound casual, though my voice trembled. "It's me, Liam," he replied, his voice smooth and alluring. A shiver ran through me at the sound of his voice, and my pulse quickened. "What do you want?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light despite the growing excitement within me. "I just wanted to check on you. You've been in here for a while," he said, his voice carrying a mix of concern and something else I couldn't quite place. That underlying tone made my heart race even more. I paused, attempting to compose myself, but the tension was electric. "I'm fine, just taking a bath," I replied, my cheeks growing warm at the thought of him standing just outside the door. There was a brief silence before he spoke again. "Can I come in? I just want to see you," he said softly. My heart skipped a beat at his words, and I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Before I could stop him, the door opened and he stepped inside confidently. My breath hitched as my eyes took him in. His tousled hair, the way his fitted t-shirt hugged his chest, and those piercing blue eyes that seemed to see straight through me, leaving me feeling exposed in a way I hadn't anticipated. "I thought you might want some company," he said, his gaze sweeping over the room, pausing on the flickering candles. His boldness caught me off guard, and the air between us grew thick with tension. "I'm not sure that's a good idea," I stammered, my voice unsteady as my heart pounded. I tried to maintain my composure, but every fiber of my being yearned to pull him closer. "Come on," he urged, taking a step toward me. "It's just us, just for a little while." The heat radiating from him, combined with the tension in the room, ignited something deep inside me. The longing I had suppressed for days flared to life, and I couldn't stop myself from wanting him near me. I could feel the intensity of his desire, and it made my heart race. "Okay," I whispered finally, surprising myself with my own boldness. "But just for a little while." As he moved closer, I noticed his eyes drifting to the water. "I can't help but wonder," he said, his voice low and teasing, "what it would feel like to join you in there." His words sent shivers down my spine. I swallowed hard, my heart racing wildly as my mind entertained the possibility. What if James comes home? I asked, trying to sound practical but secretly hoping he'd brush aside my concern. Then we'll just have to stay quiet, he replied, a sly smile spreading across his face as he leaned closer, the warmth of his body radiating against mine. Before I could respond, his fingers lightly grazed my arm, sending a spark through me. Please, just let me in, he said, his voice thick with longing that resonated deep within me. I hesitated, caught between the thrill of desire and the weight of my conscience, but his touch was too enticing to resist. Fine, I murmured, my voice unsteady, but just for a moment. Without hesitation, Liam stood, pulling off his t-shirt before stepping into the tub beside me. The warm water rippled around us as our bodies drew closer, and the intimacy of the moment heightened the tension in the air. The outside world seemed to vanish as our eyes locked. The water splashed softly between us, our bodies just inches apart. This feels good, he said quietly, his fingers brushing against my thigh, sparking a fire I thought had long been extinguished. It does, I replied, my voice catching as he moved closer, our bodies nearly touching. In that moment, the tension broke, and he leaned in, capturing my lips with his. The kiss began tenderly, a gentle exploration of unspoken emotions, but quickly grew deeper as the passion between us intensified. My hands instinctively found his shoulders, pulling him closer as I melted into him, the warmth of the water enveloping us both. Our kisses became more urgent, a release of the loneliness and longing I had felt for so long. His hands roamed over my back before moving to my chest, pressing gently and igniting sensations I had forgotten I could feel. Liam, I gasped between kisses, the heat between us growing more intense, threatening to consume us. Shh, he whispered, his lips trailing down my neck, sending shivers through me. Just enjoy this. I closed my eyes, losing myself in the fire he was creating with every kiss and every touch. My fingers tangled in his hair as he pulled me closer, our bodies fitting together as if they were made for this moment. Each kiss made the outside world fade further away until it was just the two of us, wrapped in the warmth of the water. His hands explored my body, tracing down my arms and back up to my face, cradling it tenderly as our kisses became more passionate, more desperate. I've wanted this for so long, he murmured against my lips before kissing me deeply once more. Me too, I admitted, feeling exposed yet exhilarated by the intensity of the moment. I clung to him, my heart pounding as his hands wandered, awakening feelings I had kept buried for years. The boundaries I had set for myself blurred, and I let myself get lost in the heat of the moment. I reached for him, matching his intensity, and he gently took the shower gel in his hand, rubbing it over my skin with a slow, deliberate motion. As his hand trailed toward my hips, the water swirled around us, amplifying every sensation. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the moment, and we both froze. The unmistakable sound of the front door opening made my heart sink. James, I whispered, panic flooding me. Liam pulled away quickly, his eyes wide as we both scrambled to compose ourselves. What do we do? He asked, his voice tense with urgency. Hide, I hissed, motioning toward the shower curtain. We ducked behind it, our hearts racing as we held our breath, silently praying that James wouldn't come into the bathroom. I heard his footsteps echoing through the house. Sophia, are you here? He called, his voice calm yet inquisitive. The tension was unbearable as we huddled together, our bodies close, the heat radiating between us. My heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the lingering thrill of what had just happened. I could feel Liam's warm breath against my neck as adrenaline coursed through me. The bathroom door creaked open, and I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping he wouldn't discover us. James walked in, but instead of pulling back the curtain, he simply washed his hands at the sink. The sound of running water felt deafening in the charged silence. After what felt like an eternity, he finished and left the room, the door clicking shut behind him. Liam and I exchanged a glance of relief, our hearts still hammering from the close call. That was way too close, Liam whispered, his voice a mix of excitement and nerves. I can't believe we just did that, I replied, my body still buzzing with adrenaline. The danger of it all had left me exhilarated. Do you want to keep going? He asked, his eyes locking onto mine, filled with longing. I hesitated, torn between the risks and the magnetic pull drawing me to him. Yes, I whispered, barely audible. We stepped out from behind the curtain, the tension between us crackling in the air. I moved closer to him, my heart pounding as I reached out, pulling him into another kiss. This time, it felt different. No longer just a secret, but an undeniable connection. I was ready to embrace it no matter the consequences. His movements grew more urgent, his kisses deeper, and I surrendered completely, allowing myself to feel everything I had been suppressing for so long. A few days later, the late afternoon sunlight streamed through the kitchen window as I prepared dinner. The smell of sautéed vegetables filled the air, a stark contrast to the lingering excitement from our last encounter. My mind wandered back to every touch, every kiss, and how alive Liam had made me feel. As I stirred the pot on the stove, I couldn't stop myself from daydreaming. The sound of the front door creaking open reached my ears, followed by the familiar rhythm of Liam's footsteps. My heart raced as he entered the kitchen, a playful grin lighting up his face. "What smells so good?" he asked, leaning casually against the counter. "Just making dinner," I replied, striving to keep my voice steady. "How was your day?" "Long and dull," he said, his eyes glinting with mischief. "But it's much better now that I'm here." "Really?" I asked, my curiosity piqued. "What do you mean?" He moved closer, his presence warming the already cozy kitchen. "I mean, being here with you always makes my day better," he said, his voice low and inviting. The way he looked at me sent butterflies fluttering through my stomach, rekindling memories of our past encounters. Turning back to the stove, I tried to appear focused on cooking, though my pulse quickened. "You're just saying that?" I replied, attempting to deflect the intensity of his gaze. "No, I mean it," he said firmly, moving even closer until he stood just behind me. "I can't stop thinking about you. About us." His words sent a shiver down my spine. I stole a glance over my shoulder, meeting his gaze. "Liam, we can't keep doing this. It's complicated." He leaned in, resting his chin gently on my shoulder. The heat of his body pressed against my back, and the scent of his cologne filled the air. "Why not? We both want this, don't we?" he murmured. I closed my eyes briefly, savoring the intoxicating warmth of his proximity and the unspoken tension between us. "I do," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "But it's dangerous." "Sometimes the best things in life come with a bit of risk," he murmured, his lips brushing against my ear and sending chills down my spine. "Let's just enjoy this while we can." I took a deep breath, my heart hammering as I considered his words. He was right. This connection, this spark of passion, had reawakened something inside me. My heart raced as I gave in to the pull I felt toward him. "Okay," I whispered, turning to face him fully. The air between us thickened with anticipation as I searched his eyes, feeling a mix of hope and desire. "Just for tonight." His lips curled into a triumphant smile, and before I could second-guess my decision, he took my hand and led me out of the kitchen. We walked down the hallway to my bedroom, each step a mix of fear and exhilaration. The thought of being caught lingered at the back of my mind, but the thrill of the moment overshadowed my hesitation. Once inside the room, he softly closed the door, locking it behind us. The atmosphere shifted immediately, the air charged with tension. He turned to me, his expression serious yet filled with hunger. "I've been thinking about this moment for days," he said, stepping closer. His fingers grazed my arm, sending electricity through me. The space between us disappeared as he wrapped his arms around my waist, pulling me close. Without hesitation, his lips found mine, and I melted into the kiss, a surge of desire flooding through me. My hand slipped under his shirt as our kisses deepened, the world outside fading until only the two of us remained. Each kiss ignited a fire within me, a longing that had been buried for so long. His hands roamed my back, pulling me closer until I could feel the rapid beat of his heart against my chest. "You're stunning," he whispered between kisses, his hands reaching for the hem of my shirt. "I can't get enough of you," I breathed, shivering under the intensity of his touch. "We shouldn't," I muttered weakly. "Just let it happen," he urged, his voice thick with desire. "Forget everything else, just for tonight." In one swift motion, he lifted my shirt over my head, his gaze roaming over my body with unabashed admiration. A rush of vulnerability mixed with excitement coursed through me as I stood exposed before him. He leaned down, his lips brushing against my skin, trailing soft kisses along my collarbone. Each touch sent heat spiraling through me, and my hands instinctively roamed his back, feeling the muscles beneath his shirt. He captured my lips again, his hands moving to unfasten my bra. The sensation of the strap slipping away sent a new wave of warmth through me. Pushing the fabric aside, he let his fingers brush against my bare skin. "You're incredible," he murmured, his eyes filled with longing. "I want you," I confessed boldly, my voice tinged with recklessness. "Then let's make this unforgettable," he replied, his voice low and full of promise. Our lips met again, this time more urgently as his hands explored my body. The intensity of our connection consumed me, leaving no room for second thoughts. The world outside ceased to exist as we tangled together, our passion igniting a fire that threatened to overwhelm us both. Time seemed to stand still as we surrendered completely to the moment. Eventually, he pulled back breathless and took my hand, guiding me to the bed. "Are you ready?" he asked, his eyes dark with desire. "Yes!" I whispered, anticipation thrumming through me. We collapsed onto the bed, our bodies intertwining as the thrill of the moment swept us away. Each kiss, each touch was a dance of passion and longing, a forbidden yet exhilarating connection that promised to change everything between us. Days turned into weeks, and our secret encounters became more frequent. Each moment we stole together felt like a fleeting escape from reality, a stolen breath of fresh air. The quiet touches, the stolen glances, and the passionate kisses left us both yearning for more. One evening, after a particularly intense rendezvous, we lay entwined in bed, the soft glow of moonlight filtering through the curtains. I traced my fingers along Liam's chest, feeling the warmth of his skin beneath my touch. "What are we doing?" I asked, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled between us. My question lingered in the air, heavy with meaning. "We're living," he replied, his voice calm and steady. It had been a long time since I'd heard him sound so sure. His words brought a small smile to my face, but doubt crept in, gnawing at the edges of my happiness. "What if someone finds out?" I asked, worry lacing my voice. "Then we'll handle it," he said, lifting my chin so my eyes met his. "I'm not afraid of this. I want you." His words sent a wave of heat rushing through me, but I couldn't ignore the sense of looming danger. "I want you too," I admitted, the weight of my emotions pressing down on me. "But this isn't just a fling for me. It means something." "It means something to me too," he said earnestly, his expression serious. "But we can't let fear hold us back. We deserve to be happy." The sincerity in his voice dissolved my doubts, and I leaned in to kiss him. Our connection deepened, the intensity swelling as I lost myself in the moment. All my fears faded away as we kissed, and for the first time, I felt liberated. Together, we were creating our own story, one filled with passion, longing, and the undeniable allure of the forbidden. In the weeks that followed, we found ways to nurture our connection despite the chaos of daily life. Each stolen moment felt more precious than the last, and I began to look forward to our encounters with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The thrill of our secret meetings made my heart race. I cherished the way Liam looked at me, his eyes brimming with admiration and desire. Each touch, each kiss reignited a fire in me that I had long thought extinguished. But no matter how much I tried to savor our time together, the reality of our situation lingered in the back of my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were playing with borrowed time, teetering on the edge of a cliff. There were moments when I found myself wondering what would happen if James ever discovered the truth. Would he be furious? Would he understand? Or would he see me as someone who had crossed an unforgivable line? One evening, while preparing dinner, my mind was consumed by thoughts of Liam. I chopped vegetables mechanically, my thoughts miles away. James's voice suddenly broke through my reverie as he entered the kitchen. "Hey, honey," he said, planting a gentle kiss on my cheek. "What's for dinner?" "Just pasta and salad," I replied, forcing a smile. As he settled into the kitchen, our usual light-hearted banter resumed, but even as we talked, I felt an ever-growing distance between us. My heart was heavy with secrets, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was wearing a mask, pretending everything was normal while a storm brewed beneath the surface. After dinner, I excused myself, saying I was tired, and retreated to my bedroom. Sitting on the edge of the bed, my thoughts raced. I couldn't stop replaying the moments I had shared with Liam. His touch, his kiss, the way he made me feel alive. I already missed him. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message. It was from Liam. "Can we meet tonight?" My heart leapt at the thought. The thrill of seeing him again, of feeling that electric connection, was irresistible. I quickly replied, "Yes, I'll be waiting." As the night wore on, Anticipation bubbled within me. I could hear James moving around the house, watching TV in the living room, completely unaware of the plans unfolding behind closed doors. When the clock struck 10, my heart raced at the soft knock on my bedroom door. "Sophia!" Liam whispered, his voice barely audible. I opened the door to find him standing there, as handsome as ever. The moment our eyes met, the tension in the air became palpable. Without a word, I pulled him inside and shut the door, shutting out the rest of the world. "What if James sees you?" I whispered urgently, my voice trembling. "He won't," Liam assured me, stepping closer. The warmth of his body radiated toward me, and I felt the magnetic pull between us. "I just needed to see you." Before I could respond, he closed the gap between us, capturing my lips in a passionate kiss. The world outside vanished as I melted into him, desire surging through me. Our kisses grew more intense, and I felt the weight of everything else slip away. We stumbled toward the bed, lost in the heat of the moment. The thrill of secrecy and the intoxicating warmth of his body overwhelmed my senses. As we tumbled onto the bed, I felt alive, exhilarated and utterly consumed by the connection we shared. But as quickly as passion took hold, a shadow of doubt flickered at the edge of my mind. What if this was a mistake? What if I was risking everything I had built with James? Yet, in that moment, none of it mattered. I wanted to be here with Liam, in this intoxicating reality where I felt desired and alive. Hours passed, and we lay entwined in each other's arms, the weight of the outside world forgotten. I knew I should be thinking about the consequences, about the life I had with James. But in Liam's embrace, everything felt perfect. The intimacy we shared was unlike anything I'd experienced in years. Eventually, the reality of our situation crept in, and guilt began to gnaw at the edges of my mind. "Liam," I said softly, breaking the silence. "What are we doing?" He looked down at me, his expression serious. "We're living, Sophia. We're embracing something beautiful." "Yes, but it's complicated," I said, my voice trembling. "What if James finds out? Then we'll face it together," he said firmly, as if his certainty could make everything okay. "I'm not afraid of this." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to think we could navigate this storm together. But doubt lingered. "I can't just walk away from my life with James," I said, tears welling in my eyes. "He deserves better." "Do you love him?" Liam asked gently, his words heavy with meaning. "I care about him," I admitted. "But it's not the same. I haven't felt this way in a long time." "Then maybe it's time to follow your heart," he said softly. "You deserve to be happy." In that moment, I realized he was right. I had been so focused on the consequences that I had ignored my own happiness. Looking into Liam's eyes, I saw not just desire, but a reflection of everything I had been missing. "I want this," I said, feeling a rush of courage. "I want you." His eyes sparkled with joy and relief. "Then let's not waste any more time," he said, pulling me into another kiss. With each kiss, we promised to embrace this beautiful, complicated connection. The path ahead wouldn't be easy, but with Liam by my side, I felt ready to face whatever came our way. Together, I was determined to cherish every moment and follow my heart.